What are the most important SEO tips for the current state of SEO? That's a question that a whole lot of people have, primarily because of the major changes Google has made, the Google Penguin and Panda updates over the past couple of years. Particularly about a year ago is when the biggest change that I saw with my own websites happened, and that's when they changed the how they look at anchor text, and they started wanting more natural anchor text. And that's our first point right here, which we'll get into. And it is the most important, in my opinion, change that has happened. There are several other things that you do have to take into account, several other things that have changed, but this is the primary one. And if you do this wrong, you're just going to ruin the SEO potential of your site. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain the most important aspects of SEO these days, what's going to hurt you, and what's going to help you. All right, so as you can see here, natural anchor text and distribution, links from diverse trusted sites, on-page factors that are important, and frequent updates and regular promotion. So that's what we're going to go over that at the highest level in this video. So the first point is natural anchor text and distribution. This is the most important change. So this is something that you definitely need to pay a lot of attention to. If you get this wrong, you're going to hurt the ranking potential of your site in Google. You do not want to over-optimize. You want the anchor text distribution to be as natural looking as possible. And to do that, you need to have your brand and URL up there. I'm not going to get into percentages. I'll probably throw a few out here and there just as suggestions, but the percentages, and if you look at different sites that rank out there, you're going to find varying percentages of brand saturation, URL saturation, keyword saturation, obscure, etc. But for the most part, the brand and URL, different versions of the URL, should be the most used anchor text for your website. All right, so don't over optimize with your primary keyword, with any keywords. There should be more brand and URL anchors than anything else. All right, so that's number one. Make sure that happens. And the URL, www.mysite.com, mysite.com, http://www.mysite.com, just different variations of your URL. That's natural, that's what happens, and that's what they want to see. All right, backlink relevance is important, so try to get as many backlinks from highly relevant sources as possible. This isn't something that in reason is going to hurt you, but the more relevant the backlinks are, the better. Unless the backlinks are just completely 100% irrelevant, all the time. That's probably not a good thing. But backlink relevance, the more relevant, the better. Do not overuse the keywords, and this is the primary thing right here. Previous to about a year or so ago, I don't remember the exact date, you could use your primary keywords 90% of the time, and you could rank for that keyword. I mean, that's how you did it. You just got a whole lot of backlinks using whatever keywords you want to rank for, and you could rank for just about any low to moderate competition keyword. Can't do it anymore. Don't do it anymore. You will almost never rank for your keywords if you do that. So the keywords you want to rank for should be a low percentage. Less than 10% most of the time. If you use EMDs, and I'll go ahead and get into that here, skip down to that, EMDs can use the URL keyword more. We have seen that, and it's because it kind of ties into the brand. So if you have a keyword as the EMD, and EMD is an exact match domain, so dogtrainingtips.com is an EMD for dog training tips. So if you were trying to rank for dog training tips and you owned dogtrainingtips.com, you could get away with using dog training tips as your anchor text a little more, maybe up to 10% or so. And again, there's no exact percentages. I definitely would not want to go much higher than 10% even with an EMD. But you can get away with that. We have seen that. That is true. But do not overuse your keywords. Use whatever the keywords are that you want to rank for. Definitely get them in there, but it should be a single-digit percentage. And your brand and URL needs to be much higher, the percentage. Use variations of your keywords, and don't be afraid of the low search volume keywords. Even if the Google Planner keyword tool says that your keyword, that the keywords only have 50 monthly searches, you can rank for 5 or 10 different keywords on one page just by including them in the page, and it being relevant to the keyword. So use different variations, and getting just a handful of backlinks using those low search volume phrases in there, and that's going to associate a whole range of keywords with that page or the root of that website. So use variations, and then your primary keywords, which are usually your keywords with the highest search volume, the hardest ones to rank for. Use those in the anchor text from your most powerful backlinks. So the highest quality backlinks that you can get are usually going to be a small number. So for those small number of backlinks, which are more powerful, those are the ones you want to use your primary keywords in, your most competitive keywords, the hardest ones that are going to be ranked for. To get rankings for. So use your keywords in those powerful backlinks. If you have high PR backlinks, whatever you have, wherever they're coming from, use it in those. That way, that primary keyword is still only used a couple times, but the couple times that it is used, it's getting a lot of authority going through that, which associates it with that, and which will help you rank for that. All right, so links from diverse trusted sites. Stay away from low quality sites. Now, it's very important to understand what a low quality site is. And this is one of the things that the disinformation out there, the people who are doing these old tactics that don't work anymore, and then telling everyone, well, it's all because of the low quality, it's all because of the social bookmarks and stuff. So they just equate social bookmarks, article directories, etc., with low quality sites, and that is not the case. There are a lot of low quality social bookmarking sites and article directory sites and web directory sites, etc., forum profiles, etc. There are low quality sites out there, and you do want to stay away from them. But a type of a site does not tell you the quality. There are all kinds of very high quality social bookmarking sites and article directory sites. Easing Articles, Reddit, Stumble Upon. These are sites that are high quality, and there are a lot more than that. Those are just the top few off the top of my head. There are a lot of them out there, and these help you get ranked. I mean, sites that get into these sites, that get submitted to these sites, that's a trust ranking signal for Google. So get your sites into them. Be careful which ones they go into. But get your sites into them. Don't be afraid to get backlinks from these manual, these easy backlink sources. Just make sure they're not low quality backlinks. So how do you know, which ones are low quality? The root PR is a good way to filter, but it is not the only way to filter. So if you just want to not get too deep into it, you're going to get rid of some sites that could have been quality. But it's a pretty effective way to make sure that you're only submitting to good sites. Is just get rid of all backlink sources that do not have PageRank, and that's Google Toolbar PageRank. It's not the most perfect picture of authority, but in general, if Google has a problem with a site, it's not going to have any PageRank. It's not going to give it any Toolbar PageRank. So if you're only submitting to sites that have a root PageRank of at least one, then for the most part, you're going to stay away from those low quality sites that will hurt you. And the root PR is the homepage. So, reddit.com is the root. See what the page rank of that is. It's high. If you get your list of whatever the sites you want to submit to, and then you just filter out all of them that don't have PageRank. Now there are other ways to look at that. Just going to the website, seeing the popularity of it, seeing the professionalism of it. Is it just a plain basic thin site, then okay, you probably shouldn't submit to it. Does it have a whole lot of social media activity, etc. So those are things that will tell you whether it's a legitimate site or not. And obviously, if you can tell that there's a whole lot of activity, if it gets a lot of traffic, maybe there's comments on something, whatever, then that will be a good indicator that it's a good quality site that you should, get a link from. Um, a lot of that is just, the eye of the beholder. You can get, a deep analysis, look at the backlinks and everything else, but for the most part, that's not really necessary. So just looking at the root PR is a good way to do that. Easy backlink sources like article directories or social bookmarking sites are still valuable. Getting low to moderate competition keywords ranked. So we just talked about that. And then social signals are not a ranking signal, and that's a big misconception. A lot of people believe that they are a ranking signal. They are not. They are, in many cases, related. If a site gets high rankings, then it's probably going to have, depending on the niche and the demographics and a few things, but a lot of times it will have a lot of social activity. But Matt Cutts has come out a few times and just straight said that social signals are not a ranking signal in Google. In the past there's been some confusion on it. He said that he kind of hinted towards they were a ranking signal in the past a few years ago. Now they're saying they're not, and all indications go towards them not being a ranking signal. That doesn't mean that you should not be doing any social media. Social media can very well help because they can invite natural backlinks. That happens a lot these days. So social media is a good thing. Facebook is good, Twitter, whatever you're doing. If you feel like you need to do it, then do it. Social media is a good thing. Definitely can drive traffic, a lot of traffic, and can invite backlinks. So social media is a good thing to do because you can get those natural backlinks from it. But don't spend your SEO budget on trying to get social signals if they aren't good, quality quality, where you're going to actually get traffic and, have the potential to getting natural backlinks. All right. So on-page factors are still important. They're very important. There's a few things that are very important. So targeting the keywords, targeted keywords should appear in the content, and the primary keywords should appear in the title. So you want to try to target various phrases, and that's the second point here. Target various phrases per page. Don't just target one keyword on each page. You want to target one primary keyword, absolutely, and that primary keyword should be in the title, and that should be a keyword that gets a decent amount of monthly searches. It all depends on what your plan is, what you're targeting, etc. Just a kind of a general rule of thumb. I try to go somewhere in the 800 plus monthly searches range per internal page, but that's just kind of a random number. And that should be in your title. So you want that to be in your title tag, preferably in the front of the title, and then you want your brand in there. You want it to be natural, not just the keyword. You want to have a little bit more in there to entice the user to click, and just for a more natural appearance. And then you want to get some variations of that primary keyword on the page, so you can rank for, you could be ranking for 5 or 10 different variations of that phrase that get a smaller number of searches per month, but result in them piling up and equaling a decent amount of searches. So you want to do that and make sure that you get those keywords on the page. So if you want to rank for red widgets and the word or the phrase red widgets doesn't even appear on your page, that's going to be much harder to get that page to rank for red widgets. So make sure the keywords that you want to rank for, the primary and the variations, appear on the page. In the actual content of the page. Don't overdo it. Make sure it sounds natural. You definitely don't want to have every other word with a keyword. Per 500 words, my general rule of thumb is 1 or 2 instances of each keyword per keyword. So don't overdo it. But make sure the keywords are on there. Don't over optimize. Don't have, if you're targeting red widgets, you don't want to have, the subheading of your, in your sidebar, red widgets, and then, you have the word red widgets 5 times in your article, and then you have red widgets in the title of the, of the article, and then you have red widgets in the title of the page, and then you have red widgets in the alt tag of the images. So you don't want to over optimize. It's natural to have variations of a keyword. So if this page is about red widgets, it's natural to have, and red widgets might not be the best example. Let's say dog treats. If dog treats is what you're targeting on the page, then it's natural to have puppy treats. Natural puppy treats, affordable puppy. Just affordable puppy snacks. Different variations of that keyword is natural. So you don't want to eliminate all the variations and target only one specific keyword, because that is artificial looking, and in many cases that will hurt you. So use variations of your keywords on your pages. Not only is it going to keep your page from being seen as artificial to Google, but it's going to help you to rank for these different variations of the keywords. And I always like to do a little keyword research for those phrases and try to get phrases that actually have a little bit of search volume. So if I am going to rank for these phrases, I'm at least going to get a little bit of search volume from that, and again, that can add up. The definition of quality content depends on the judge of it. So Google cannot and does not manually view every page on the internet. And that's another big thing that a lot of people don't understand. They think that Google, they have manual reviewers, so if my articles aren't just awesome, then they're never going to rank. That's not true. There are millions of pages out there on the internet, and Google absolutely does not and cannot review every single one of them with a human. In most cases, your content is never going to be seen by a Google reviewer. That doesn't mean just go out and throw slop content out there. The better your content is, the quality of it, the better. The better chances you're going to have of natural backlinks coming in, and the better that the content is going to convert into whatever you want it to convert into, an ad click or whatever. So quality content does matter. It is important. It is good, but don't think that you can't get a page ranked unless you have handwritten, perfect content that's going to just blow someone's mind. You can have content out there. The content doesn't even have to be 100% unique. You want your content to be unique. You don't want it to be copied. Definitely, if your site's full of copied content, if it's completely copied, you're not going to rank at all, most likely. But you can have, a certain percentage of your articles can be not unique. I mean, it's just a fact. We have sites out there ranking just with article builder content, which is mostly unique content, but it's not 100% unique content. We have sites ranked on the front page of Google with 100% content from that. So content does not have to be 100% mind-blowing, awesome content like Google wants you to believe it has to be. Is it good to have, mind-blowing, awesome, viral content? Absolutely. But, let's face it, you can't come up with content like that every day. So just this point is really just more of a, don't worry too much about it. Try to get good content out there as much as possible. But if you can't, in this particular niche or whatever, then don't worry about that. You can still get a page ranked. Frequent updates and regular promotion. Update every week or so with new content. That's my general rule of thumb. And again, that's kind of a broad suggestion. There are sites that rank that haven't been updated for months. It does look like it's looked at much more these days that a page, that a site needs to be updated fairly regularly to hold a ranking, especially if it's a good keyword, a keyword with a lot of search volume, with a lot of competition. So it is a sign of legitimacy. But another thing is, the more content you have, the more potential rankings you have. So you want to keep producing content. The more content you have, the more rankings. If you have 10 articles of similar quality and similar ranking potential, then and your competitor has 10,000, he's going to get massive traffic compared to what you're going to get. So the more articles you can get out there, the better, not only for Google, but just for or not only to appease their algorithm, into the overall rankings of your site, but also to collect more ranking potential over time. And then continue to obtain backlinks each month. It shows gradual growth of the site. Can you go without building backlinks for a month or two and still obtain rankings? Sure, you can. But if you completely quit after building links for a while, your rankings are, in most cases, going to go down. And again, that depends on the niche, the competition. It depends on a few things. Um, can you continue to rank for a long period of time without it? Yes. In many cases, you will not, though. So it is important to continue to build backlinks over time. It shows gradual growth, and it's just a good thing. I mean, you want to obtain those rankings and continue to obtain more rankings.